This video is an overview of how AssetAccountant works with Sage Intacct, specifically for use in South Africa. The systems work together in three ways. Firstly, when AssetAccountant is implemented with Sage Intacct, a draft assets clearing account is set up and new fixed assets are coded to this in Sage Intacct's general ledger. AssetAccountant then automatically pulls these through for depreciation treatment. Secondly, AssetAccountant will post journals into Sage Intacct. And finally, the two systems synchronize both of your standard and custom dimensions in Sage Intacct. These are also known as classifications in AssetAccountant. Please note that the content in this video is a high-level overview where we cover the basics of fixed asset depreciation and leasing treatment. For more detailed tutorials and demonstrations, further videos are available on our website.
Firstly, I'm going to create a journal in Intacct with a new draft asset. It is possible to use AP to create these journals or to bring in credit card transactions. From the point of view of AssetAccountant, it doesn't really matter how these items hit the general ledger, but once they are posted to the GL, AssetAccountant picks them up. For ease in this case, I'm going to do a general journal and I'm going to do a new car. So let's say I'm buying a new car. I will code that to my AssetAccountant clearing account that I referred to, of 15,000 in this case. And let's say this new car is going to cost R500,000. So the other side of that will go to accounts payable. And then once that is posted into the general ledger, I can then move into AssetAccountant. In AssetAccountant, you will see in the Add Asset screen, this section here that pulls through those entries in Intacct. So I can just refresh that. That will go and interrogate the clearing account in Intacct. And you can see that's now pulled through the new car with R500,000. So I'm going to choose the Add Asset option. This is a new asset. And from here, I can review the new car, the batch title. I can choose that this is a motor vehicle. And then in here, if I want to, I can set these dimensions if these haven't pulled through. So I can review them in here and pull these through if I want to from there. Over here are the default methods for this group. So this is the motor vehicles group. The default method for motor vehicles is for tax is a monthly diminishing value option. It is possible to change these, and here we have the SARS mandated depreciation methods that you can use. So let's use the 20%, 8% method in this case here. And there are some advanced settings if you want to add notes and so on. I can do the same thing for accounts. So if I want to change this from a straight line to a diminishing value, I can do that. And then I can set the method, the life, and the rate from here. Save that asset. That asset is now part of the asset register. So if I go to the asset screen, this is the screen that you're likely to do most of the work in AssetAccountant. So you can see here the asset groups down the left-hand side and the movement in the period that you're looking at across the top. Up in the top right here, you can toggle between the accounts view and the tax view, and you can also choose the periods you want to look at as well. Here you can see the motor vehicle has been added. So my new car is added with R500,000. And I can go into here and review everything about the asset. You can see as soon as it's in, the depreciation is calculated for the entire life of the vehicle. I can change the classifications here or the dimensions if I want to. The other thing that AssetAccountant does is also do the lease calculations. So if you wanted to attach a lease to this asset, then you can just put in the amount financed here. So let's say financing everything, and then the payment schedule here. So in this case here, I'm going to do a initial deposit of 50,000 and then 10,000 rand a month for 36 months. Finally, a balloon payment of, let's say that's 140,000 rand. It's a one-off. That will then calculate the split between the principal and the interest for the life of the lease. And then I can choose to use that schedule and then save it. When that's done, what you will see here is the asset screen now has these additional columns where you can see the lease liability is being managed over the life of the lease. So the interest accruals are posted at the end of each month in there, and then the lease liability is reduced as the lease progresses. To create a journal in AssetAccountant, you can navigate to the journals section here. I'm going to create a journal to the end of October. Here you can see the journal that will be posted to Intacct once you have reviewed it in AssetAccountant. Each line item will appear under the buildings or the asset group, in this case buildings, or you can have this via the GL account. I will collapse these and just review the motor vehicles items. So you can see here the lease has been set up, split between current and non-current. We also post payments to a lease payment clearing account so that you can reconcile those against the bank feed. And then here you can see the cost of my car has been posted to the motor vehicles at cost account, cleared out of the clearing account, and depreciation has started. So once you're happy with that, having reviewed the journal, you are able to click Post to Sage Intacct, and AssetAccountant will then post that directly to Intacct. Finally, I'd just like to touch on the reports section. Here you can see there are a number of standard reports that are available, ranging from asset reports, where we have full summaries by asset group, acquisitions, forecasts, disposals, and so on. And also a number of reports available for leases here as well. In addition to this, there is an ability to build your own reports from this Assets tab. Here you can search for assets by name, or you can filter assets by asset group and location and so on. And it's also possible to choose the columns you want to look at, so you're able to review create an exact report in the way you would like. So that's an overview of how AssetAccountant works with Sage Intacct in South Africa. We've covered setting up a draft asset in Intacct, pulling that through to AssetAccountant, setting the correct treatment, posting the journal back, and then finally looking at some of the reports that are available in the system. For further detailed videos, please see our website. Otherwise, thank you for watching.